There are separate kits for Reading Mastery 1 and Fast Cycle 1. Each kit contains a teacher's guide which describes the program's scope and sequence, explains program rationale, and provides procedures for placement, grouping, regrouping, scheduling, and mastery testing. The guide also includes important sample exercises and provides lots of specific information on how to present the exercises and correct predictable student errors. Your teacher's guide can be an invaluable aid for quick references. The Reading Mastery 1 kit includes 3 teacher presentation books that specify every activity for each of 160 lessons. The Fast Cycle kit contains 4 teacher presentation books. The first 2 teach the same skills taught in Reading Mastery 1, but in 80 scripted lessons. Each teacher presentation book is scripted. It tells you exactly what to do and what to say. The reason for this attention to detail in designing lessons is that details do make a difference. The vocabulary and wording used in every direct instruction script was designed to be concise, consistent, simple, and clear. Students, particularly low performers, become easily confused, discouraged, and lose interest in long lectures or explanations that are beyond their understanding. Every activity and every exercise is planned to be functional and serve a specific purpose in moving students from teacher-directed instruction to independent application. Each lesson includes many exercises. Each exercise includes a series of instructional steps to teach a particular component reading skill. These exercises are called formats. A format may appear for a number of lessons. What the teacher does and says remains the same, consistent. The only difference is the examples presented in the exercise. Later formats usually build on what was presented in earlier formats. The teacher presentation book will indicate that a format is appearing for the first time with a line above and below the exercise title and number. When you see this cue in upcoming lessons, you can refer to your teacher's guide for critical techniques and practice new formats before you teach them to your students. Each kit also contains a spelling book, which includes a 5 to 10 minute daily scripted spelling lesson. These lessons are coordinated with the introduction of reading skills. The spelling book is not to be used until students have some proficiency in symbol identification and blending, Lesson 50 of Reading Mastery 1 or Lesson 36 of Fast Cycle 1. Each kit also contains a Behavior Objectives booklet, one Skills Profile folder, an acetate page protector, and a set of group progress indicators, colored plastic clips that help you keep the place for each group in the program. In the Reading Mastery Kit, there is an audio tape cassette demonstrating how to pronounce the sounds and how to present some formats from the program. Each student needs to have a set of consumable workbooks, 3 for Reading Mastery 1, 2 for Fast Cycle 1. These workbooks not only contain practice activities, but initially include stories the children are to read. Workbooks are called take-homes because children can take the pages home after they are completed and checked at school. In each kit, there is a teacher's edition of the take-home book and answer key. Children also use non-consumable storybooks, starting at Lesson 91 in Reading Mastery 1 and 44 in Fast Cycle. You need to have enough storybooks for each child in your largest instructional group, plus a few extra. Let's talk about the steps of the correction procedure. The first step is to state your expectation. Write that.
You will tell students what you want them to do behaviorally and academically. Next, you model. You repeat the step that was missed and you tell the answer. You begin the model by saying these words: my turn, listen, or my turn, watch. Write that. Next, you lead. You repeat the step responding with the children. You say, do it with me, or say it with me. Write that. You keep responding with the children even though they may not be producing the correct response. If they make errors while you're leading, you don't interrupt your rhythm by modeling again. You just continue to assertively lead until they do respond correctly with you. You say again each time before signaling the students to respond. Write again several times and then write repeat lead until 2 correct responses in a row. That means repeat the lead as many times as it takes to get the children to respond 2 times in a row correctly with you. Sometime to prompt myself while I'm leading, I finally get a correct group response, then I'll say one more time and lead again. When the children appear to have responded correctly 2 times in a row with your lead, you have to let the children respond to the instructional task without your answering with them. This is called the test step. For the test step, write your turn or all by yourselves. After you have completed the model, lead, and test steps, you repeat the whole exercise from the beginning. For example, if the children are working on an exercise with 4 words and they miss the second word, you would return to the first word after you've corrected the second word. The goal is to have children respond correctly to all 4 words in a row. We call this part firming. Part firming is the means by which the teacher ensures that the children are provided with adequate practice to facilitate them retaining the skills they've been taught. We find that if a teacher provides sufficient repetitions to enable the children to respond correctly to all the items in the exercise, the next day the number of repetitions they need to master a similar exercise will go down significantly. When you do part firming, the children let you know how much practice they need to master a skill. For those of you working with naive children, you will find that it takes many repetitions. I'll be showing you how to keep the children attentive and motivated while providing those repetitions. Obviously, what you say and do before returning to the beginning of an exercise is critical. Before going back to the beginning of an exercise, you need to provide the children with some encouragement. You can do that by praising children who responded correctly. Don't worry, you won't be hurting the feelings of the children who didn't respond correctly. You'll just be communicating to them what is important. Later, when they do get the answer correct, you'll praise them. Here's what to write next. Acknowledge the children, praise a child who answered correctly on what you were working on, and restate your expectation as a challenge. Include words like starting over or let's try it again. Repeat the exercise from the beginning. Remember, you'll repeat the exercise with the entire group until the group is able to respond correctly to all the steps from beginning to end without error. When you think that the group has mastered the exercise, then praise the group, relating the praise to the expectation, and finally, give individual turns as a final check. You can say, Time for turns. Write that. Now read the 4 important points about how to give individual turns. Remember, you give individual turns only when the group appears to have mastered the entire exercise. You can refer to the wording that you have just written when you are practicing correcting and part firming. This whole correction procedure and part firming may seem quite laborious, but if you work at it, you'll be able to do it automatically and naturally. You can practice by audio taping or videotaping yourself, and you can also prompt yourself to use the procedure by posting reminder signs. Soon you'll find that you will be able to integrate your own unique personality while you effectively teach and correct your students. The teacher must utilize techniques that motivate children, keep them attentive, and performing at a high mastery level. These techniques that contribute to a positive learning environment include stating behavioral and academic expectations clearly, praising specifically, correcting effectively, and providing individual turns appropriately. The first step in teaching children how to work as a group is stating expectations clearly, communicating to the children the behaviors that you want. For example, teachers working with naive young children could say, "Here are the reading group rules. Sit up tall, feet on the floor, hands in your lap, eyes on the teacher, and talk big." A good way to design positive expectations is to think of a typical inappropriate behavior, then state the opposite as your expectation. For example, if you don't want children to run noisily up to the instructional area, a positive rule or expectation could be, "Everyone walk quickly and quietly to the group." Expectations should be positive, short, and stated in simple language. They can be said in a fun, challenging manner, like rules for a game. For example, "Let's see if you can all say the sound as long as I hold up my finger." When you state your expectation is important. Stating expectations to students before an activity may prevent inappropriate behaviors. How you state your expectations or rules is also important. Be enthusiastic, but don't be too wordy. Don't take more than a few seconds to state your expectation. Just stating rules or expectations will not in itself be sufficient to get the children to behave as you want them to. The question is, what do you do when the children are not doing what you want them to? You could react by giving attention to the child who is not doing what you want. For example, all the children in the group except Jason are looking at the book. You might say, "Jason, watch the book." Jason may then look at the book. However, consistently giving attention to children who are not doing what you want is very dangerous. In fact, there's research to show that the more teachers say no and don't about a particular behavior, the more that behavior occurs. Instead of giving attention to children not doing what you want, we strongly recommend that you use praise to children who are doing what you want as your first reaction. To be effective, your praise must be specific. You can let an undesired child behavior prompt you to use praise specifically. For example, when you see children playing with their fingers instead of attending to your presentation, you could say to another child, "Robin, good, sitting tall with your hands in your lap and watching the book." If you see a child leaning back in the chair, you could say, "Wow, look at Eunice. She's sitting with her feet on the floor and her back on the chair." Remember, to be effective, praise must be specific. We must let the children know exactly what we want. Simply stating Eunice is being good will not communicate to the children the behaviors we desire. Now, let's practice generating specific praise. I'm going to present different examples of inappropriate classroom behaviors that are typical of young children. After each description, you state an opposite or incompatible behavior as specific praise. Tell it to a partner, then I'll give you a possible wording. First situation. While you are presenting a reading exercise, you notice one child is staring at his shoes. What would you say? Take turns with a partner. When you notice the child staring at his shoes, that's your cue to praise one or two children who are following the rules. You could say something like, Maurice, good watching the book. Or, Nancy, your eyes are on the book. You're not going to get tricked. Notice that the praise is actually a restatement of the rules, and that after the praise I added on a bit of a challenge. This makes it fun for the children and makes it seem that not following the rules means that they're getting tricked, not that they're outwitting you and getting your attention with off-task behavior. Next situation. You notice that one child is leaning her chair backwards. What would you say? You could say to another child, Janice, good sitting with all the legs of your chair on the floor. Here's another situation. You notice that several children are responding very quietly. What would you say? You might say, everybody got the answer right, but did you hear Eunice and Mark? They were talking so big. Training naive children to speak up is important. Remember, children speak in a whisper because they're not confident. Scolding can decrease their confidence. If you want to elicit talking big, constantly praising children who are talking big is an effective way to get it. Here's another situation. One child is constantly stretching. What do you say? You could say, I see children with their feet on the floor and their hands in their laps. You state positive expectations and use specific praise not only for behavior, but for academic performance. Before the different exercises, activities, and transitions of a lesson, state expectations and then, during the exercise, follow up with specific praise. For example, let's try to say all the sounds right the first time. Wow! Everybody said the sounds correctly on the first try. Good working. Here's another example. Before the children are to trace letters, you could state the expectation. Trace and say all the m's in the first row. When you're finished, put your pencil down. Then you'd praise specifically. Good saying while you're writing, Kathy. Super, Jack. You're all finished, so you put your pencil down. Good following instructions. Many exercises in the program begin by stating the academic expectations. You can use specific praise comments related to the expectation. Here are some expectations from the program and specific praise comments that you can make. Everybody say the sound as long as I hold up my finger. Good saying the sound as long as my finger was up. Everybody say the sounds without stopping. Good saying the sounds without stopping. We're going to play Say It Fast. Good saying it fast. The way you correct children is important, not only for efficiency of instruction, but also for the child's self-esteem. During the early lessons of the reading program, children will learn many motor skills, such as blending. The basic steps you'll use in correcting students are the same steps that the program uses for teaching those motor skills: model, lead, and test. So essentially, when you correct, you are reteaching the skill. In training teachers, we found that initially teachers have difficulty in remembering all the steps in the correction procedure. So I'm going to give you some standardized wording for those steps. You may want to use the inside cover of your teacher's guide or a blank sheet of notebook paper to copy what appears on the screen and to take notes. First, write direct corrections to group. If one or more students in a group don't respond correctly, you direct the correction to the whole group. The entire group responds. There are several reasons for having the whole group respond. The first is that it keeps all the children more actively engaged. The second reason is that it decreases the probability of a child's learning the misrule that you get more attention for making errors than for responding correctly. The third reason is that correcting the group prevents one child from being singled out.
One of the first steps you'll want to take in teaching a direct instruction reading program is to determine which level of the program is appropriate for your children. You do this by giving placement tests. Each subject area and level has a test. Let's look at the placement test for Reading Mastery 1 and Fast Cycle. The tests appear on pages 6 and 7 of either teacher's guide. Open your teacher's guide to those pages now. This test will help you to determine whether a child should enter Reading Mastery 1 at Lesson 1 or 11, or enter the Fast Cycle program at Lesson 1. The test is administered individually to each child. You will record responses on the placement test scoring sheet, which appears on page 73, Reading Mastery 1 Teacher's Guide, and page 96, Fast Cycle Teacher's Guide. You'll have to make one copy of the score sheet for each child. Take some time now to read over the test and look at the score sheet. Here's a demonstration of administering Part 1 of the placement test. Mary will act as my student. For the purpose of this demonstration, you're going to see both the test and the score sheet. When you actually administer the placement test, your student should not see the score sheet. So here we go. All right, here we go. You're going to say some sounds. Say good. Now say d. All right. All right. Now, these are sounds. This sound is What sound? Yes. Is this
Yes.
Is this
No.
Is this
No.
Is this
Yes.
All right. Is this
No.
All righty. This sound is ah. What sound?
Ah.
Is this ah?
No.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
Is this ah?
Yes.
All right. Now let's play Say It Fast. Listen. Ice box. I can say it fast. Ice box. Okay, your turn. Listen. Foot ball. Say it fast.
Football.
All right. Here's another word. Listen. Nose. Say it fast.
Nose.
All right, now we're going to say a word slowly. Then you're going to say that word slowly. I'll say zoo slowly. Listen. Zoo. Okay, your turn. Say zoo.
Zoo.
All right. Now I'll say we slowly. Listen. We. Your turn. Say we.
We.
Okay. Good job. Good working hard. That was part 1 of the placement test. Mary made 2 errors. Note that I did not correct her. Remember, this is not a teaching situation. This is a placement test. Let's look at Mary's score sheet. Her first error was that she said yes when I asked, is this ah? I marked 0 for task 2, step D. She also made an error by not saying nose fast. That was a 2-point item that I marked 0. So out of 20 possible points, Mary scored 17. Before we interpret her score, you're going to get a chance to practice giving part 1. You need somebody to be your student. Just as I did, you will have to point to the sounds with one hand and score with the other. Remember, your student should not see the score sheet. The person who is being your student should make at least 1 error on sounds and 1 error on Say It Fast. Each of you should get a turn to practice administering part 1. Stop the tape and practice now. Now look at the bottom of the score sheet or the bottom of page 7 Teacher's Guide for placement information. Note that children who made 0 to 14 points may begin Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 1, if they have the prerequisite language skills. More on that prerequisite in a minute. Children who scored 15 to 18 points, like Mary did, begin with Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 11. If the student scored 19 or 20 points on Part 1, you would continue administering the test and go on to Part 2. Before you see a demonstration of Part 2 of the Reading Placement Test, I'll give you more information about students who scored 0 to 14 points and therefore will not be taking Part 2 of the reading test. Although Reading Mastery 1 was designed to be used with most kindergarten children or older primary grade students who have not yet been taught how to read, they must have the prerequisite language skills that allow them to learn from a verbal teacher presentation in standardized English. As I mentioned earlier, the DI model includes a component for teaching these language skills. All children can benefit from language instruction. However, for some children it may be essential. Any child who gets a score of 14 or less on Part 1 of the Reading Mastery 1 placement test should also be given the DISTAR language placement test. The test appears on pages 6 through 9 of the DISTAR Language 1 Teacher's Guide. Children whose placement score indicates entry at Lesson 1 or Lesson 11 of the DISTAR Language program generally should be placed in DISTAR Language 1, and reading instruction should be delayed until the children have reached a minimal competency level at about Lesson 61 of DISTAR Language 1. In order to accelerate the children's performance, language can be done for 2 separate 30-minute periods daily. After students reach Lesson 61 in language, reading instruction may begin during one of those periods, but language instruction should continue. Now back to the reading placement test. Let's say you'd been testing a student that did score 19 or 20 points on Part 1. You'd immediately go on to Part 2. Now you'll see how to do Part 2 of the placement test. Let's see if you remember this sound. What sound? Okay. Let's see if you remember this sound. What sound? It's okay. Alrighty. Now, I'll say a word slowly, then I'll say it fast. Listen. Man. I can say it fast. Man. Now it's going to be your turn. Say in.
In.
Say it fast. Okay, that's all right. Your turn again. Say at.
At.
Right. Say it fast.
At.
Okay. Your turn again. Say sit.
Sit.
Say it fast.
Sit.
Okay. Nice working hard. Let's look at Mary's score sheet for Part 2 of the placement test. She made 3 errors total. She couldn't remember a, so I marked a 0 for Step B, Task 1. She stopped between the sounds for in and was not able to say it fast, so I marked 0 for both items in Task 2B. Her score was 6 out of a possible 10 points for Part 2. Okay, it's your turn to administer Part 2 to a partner. Be sure you both get to practice being the teacher. Part 2 is on page 7 of your teacher's guide. Stop the tape and practice now. Now look at the bottom of the score sheet under Part 2 for placement information. Children who score 0 to 7 points like Mary did on Part 2 begin with Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 11. Children who made 8 to 10 points begin, if possible, in Fast Cycle 1, Lesson 1. If you have only the Reading Mastery 1 program, you can use the Reading Mastery 1 material beginning students at Lesson 11 and try to do 2 lessons or more a day. I'll discuss more about acceleration procedures later in this tape series. Here's more information on program placement. You might have noticed that the highest placement from this reading placement test is Lesson 1 in the Fast Cycle program. Even if you took the test, the highest possible placement would be Lesson 1 of Fast Cycle 1. If some of your children are already reading a little and you feel they can place higher in the series, give them the Reading Mastery 2 placement test. Placement test information for Reading 2 is on page 2 of Reading Mastery 2 Teacher's Guide. If students do not place into Reading Mastery 2, place them into Fast Cycle 1 and teach on an accelerated basis. Now, a final note on placement. Both Reading Mastery 1 and Fast Cycle 1 can be used as remedial programs for children who are 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th graders. For these students, you should start placement procedures by giving the Reading Mastery 2 placement test. If a student does poorly in the Reading Mastery 2 test, we advise placement into the Fast Cycle 1 at Lesson 1. Before beginning instruction, test students on the sounds. Using the last page of your teacher's guide, point to each symbol and ask, "What sound?"
What sound?
If a child says the letter name, say, "Yes, that's the letter name. Do you know the sound?" Record the sounds the students identify correctly. The more sounds children know, the faster they will probably be able to progress through the program. Experienced teachers can often present 3 or 4 fast cycle lessons a day for the first several weeks of school if children already know many sounds. As soon as students start having difficulty making errors, teach fewer lessons during a period. Lessons should be scheduled on every available school day. The time requirement is approximately 30 to 35 minutes to complete the teacher-directed part of the lesson for each instructional group. An additional 10 minutes daily is required to teach spelling to each group. However, spelling can be taught to the whole class once all the children have reached and mastered the skills in Reading Mastery 1, Lesson 50, or Fast Cycle, Lesson 36. If you are in a regular classroom setting, while you are teaching one reading group, children from other instructional groups need to be engaged at independent activities. So you need to be prepared with sufficient appropriate seat work or other independent activities to keep occupied all those students who are not working with you. A packet of Blackline Masters is available as a source of worksheet activities. See the SRA catalog for information on ordering. Your minimal goal for each reading group is to complete a lesson each day. Occasionally, you may find that you will not be able to complete the entire lesson during the instructional period. When the choice is between teaching to mastery and completing the lesson, choose teaching to mastery. You can always complete the lesson later. In fact, some teachers schedule firm-up periods that can be used for completing lessons or for extra help for students who need it. If for any reason you have no time during a particular day to complete a full lesson, complete it the next instructional day and then begin the next lesson if you have enough time during that same period. When instead teachers rush through a program to complete a lesson each day instead of teaching to mastery, it becomes more difficult to teach because students have practiced performing incorrectly many times on more and more skills and concepts. They naturally become frustrated and discouraged, stop trying to learn, and may become behavioral problems for the teacher. The best procedure, therefore, is to firm the students when skills are first introduced. To do that, you must be well prepared not only to use direct instruction teaching techniques, but also you must have thoughtfully designed the physical setting for instruction. After you have the placement test results for all your students, you need to group students for instruction according to their performance on the placement test. Homogeneous grouping is necessary so that you can enable all children to progress at optimum rates while providing a successful learning experience. Ideally, kindergarten or first grade classes should have 3 instructional groups. The lowest performing group should be the smallest, with no more than 5 or 6 children. Conversely, the highest performing group should be the largest, with up to 10 children. After testing, teachers should meet to discuss their grouping with each other. If a teacher has too many groups, switching children to different classes should be considered. So teachers and administrators should be prepared to switch children to different classes after the first 2 or 3 weeks of school. Groupings should remain flexible throughout the year. For more information on grouping, regrouping, skipping, and mastery testing, see page 8 of your teacher's guide. In addition to knowing how to pronounce sounds, you need to have the prerequisite skills of saying words slowly and reading them as they appear in the teacher presentation book before you can teach early exercises or even administer the placement test. The words in the teacher's script are spelled phonetically. This is not the spelling that the children will be looking at. It's only what you'll be seeing. For the first 2 words in this practice segment, I'll model the way I want you to hold each continuous sound for about 3 seconds. And then you'll respond with me. I'll lead until I think you can respond well. Finally, I'll test you by letting you say the word slowly alone. Those are the same 3 instructional steps that you follow when you are teaching new skills to students. Model, lead, test. Here's the first word. Listen. We. Okay, take a big breath and read it with me. We. Again, do it with me. We. By yourselves. Yes. We. Next word, listen. Nose. Okay, read it with me. Nose. Again. Nose. By yourselves. Yes. Nose. Okay, now I'll test you. You're going to say these words slowly as if you were modeling blending for your students. Remember to say each continuous sound for 3 seconds. After giving you time to respond, I'll say the correct response. Okay, your turn. Yes. Fun. Okay, next word, your turn. Yes. She. Next word, your turn. Yes. Eat. That was a stop sound. All right, here we go. Next word, your turn. Yes. Soap. If you had some difficulty reading phonetically spelled words or blending, practice this segment again. You might also audio tape yourself and listen to hear if you are blending the sounds without stopping. The pre-skills you must have in order to teach or even give the placement test are a knowledge of letter-sound correspondence and an ability to blend a series of sounds without stopping or distorting the sounds and read words that are spelled phonetically. This tape segment will focus on a model of how the sounds are said and provide you with practice saying the sounds. If you turn to the last page of either teacher's guide, you'll see a list of all the symbols used in the program. Please make notes in your guide about sounds that you need to practice and any other cues you think will be helpful. When you are teaching, you will refer to these symbols as sounds, not as letters. The letter names in alphabetic order will be introduced in Level 2, after students have mastered all the sounds. As the numbers on the chart indicate, new sounds are introduced every 3 to 4 lessons in regular Reading Mastery 1 program and every 2 to 3 lessons in the Fast Cycle. Sounds are reviewed and affirmed cumulatively every day. To make learning easier for the children, the first 5 sounds in the program are continuous sounds. That means the sound could be said continuously without distortion until you run out of air. The guide indicates continuous sounds by showing 3 letters in the second column. That means you say the sound in one tone for at least 3 seconds without stopping. A stop sound is one that cannot be said for more than an instant without distorting it. A stop sound is indicated by a single letter in the second column. Now I'll model how to say the first 6 sounds, and then I'll give you an opportunity to test yourself on them. The first sound is a, as in and or cat. Again, a. Next is as in ram, mom, or me. Again, s, as in bus, snakes. Again, s. E with a bar or macron, E, as in eat. Again, E. R, as in bar. Red, rabbit. With puckered lips, not that's ER, as in mother. Listen and watch again. Read. There's only one symbol in the second column for the 6th sound because it is a stop sound, or as we refer to it in the program, a quick sound. It should be said quickly, d, as in mad. Remember, if you say a quick sound continuously, you will be distorting it and adding a vowel sound. For example, duh or di. You don't want your students to say mad duh or mad di. The correct pronunciation again is d. Now, here comes the test. We'll do the same kind of exercise as you'll be doing with your students, except this time you'll be the student and I'll be the teacher. I'll point to a symbol and focus on it a few seconds so that you can think. Then I'll say, get ready, and move my finger under the sound. When I touch under the sound, you say the sound. Keep on saying the sound as long as I touch under it. First sound. Get ready. Yes, ah. Next sound. Get ready. Yes, Next sound. Get ready. Yes, s. Get ready. Yes, E. It's a tough one. Get ready. Yes, R. Be careful on this one. It's a quick one. Get ready. Yes, D. If you missed any sounds or were hesitant, you might mark them in your teacher's guide and also review the previous teaching segment before proceeding. The next sound is f, as in stuff or fun. Again, I, as in if. Again, I. Now be careful when you say any vowel sound. You say it as a continuous sound and don't go up and down with your tone. Don't say I. Say the sound in a continuous tone. I. Th, as in this, the, that. It's voiced. Those, not as in thing. Again, it's th. Here's another quick sound. T, as in cat. Take. N, as in nice. And another quick sound. K, as in tack. Time for another test. Let's start with a few hard ones from the first segment. Think about it. Get ready. Yes. R. Here's a quick one. It's a toughie. Get ready. Yes. D. Good remembering those sounds. All right, now we're going on to the sounds that you just had. Get ready. Yes. Get ready. Yes, if. It's a tough one. Get ready. Yes. Here's a quick one. Get ready. Yes. T. Get ready. Yes. N. Another quick one. Get ready. Yes. K. If you hesitated on saying any of those sounds or didn't say them for as long as I touched under them, practice them now. This segment has more sounds to remember. Here's the first one. Ah, as in ox, pot. Again, ah. A with a line over it is a, as in ate, cake. Again, a. Next is a quick sound, as in hat. Don't say huh. The sound is as in under, up. Again, Here's another quick sound. G, as in tag, dog. Again, g. Ooh, as in pal, lady. Again, ooh. Ooh, as in wow, wood. Again, ooh. Sh, as in wish, shop. Next is the only capital, I. The word I, because that's how it's always printed. I. Another quick sound, k, as in tack, kitten. Again, k. O with a bar, O, as in over. Again, O. V, as in love, very. Again, v. Time for a test. Let's see if I can remember all of these. First one. Get ready. Yes, ah. Get ready. Yes, a. It's a quick one. Get ready. Yes. Another quick one. Get ready. Yes. G. Get ready. Yes. Get ready. Yes, L. Get ready. Yes, sh. Tough one. Get ready. Yes, w. Get ready. Yes, I. Get ready. Yes, O. A quick one. Get ready. Yes, k. Get ready. Yes, v. Now, a little cumulative review test. Here we go. Get ready. Yes, v. Get ready. Yes, r. Get ready. Yes, I. How are you doing? If you missed any of those, practice the segment again. Last segment, it's a long one. It starts with a quick sound, p, as in sap, pop. Again, p. And another stop sound, ch, as in touch, church. Again, ch. E, as in end, elephant. Again, e. Another quick sound, b, as in grab, boy. Again, b. Ing, as in sing. Again, ing. I with a line or macron is I, as in ice. Again, I. Here's a tough one. Y, as in yard, yellow, yes, not ya, that's ye. ER is as in brother. X, as in six. Again, x. It sounds like KS. X. Two O's are oo, as in noon, or boo, not look. Again, ooh. Here's another stop sound, ch, as in judge, jump. Again, ch. Next is a vowel with a macron over it. This time it doesn't say its name. It says I, as in my, fly. Again, I. WH is w, just like the W sound. In most places in the United States, it's pronounced the same as W. Whale, what? QU is coo, as in quick, queen. Z, as in buzz. And U with a macron is U, as in use, cube. Again, U. Now here's the test for the last segment. Boy, it's a long one. Here we go. First one's a quick sound. Get ready. Yes. P. Get ready. Yes. Ch. Get ready. Yes. E. Another quick one. Get ready. Yes, B. Right, here we go. Get ready. Yes, ing. Get ready. I. Get ready. Yes, ye. Get ready. Yes, Ooh, take a breath. Here we go. Get ready. Yes, ks. Get ready. Yes, ooh. A quick one. Get ready. Yes, ch. Get ready. Yes, I. Get ready. Yes, woo. Get ready. Yes, coo. Get ready. Yes, zzz. Get ready. Yes, you. Alrighty, now we're going to do a cumulative review of all the hard sounds and the vowels. Here we go. Get ready. Yes, ah. Get ready. Yes, e. Get ready. Yes, r. Get ready. Yes, I. Get ready. Yes, v. Get ready. Yes, ah. Get ready. Yes, a. Get ready. Yes, get ready. Yes, woo. Get ready. Yes, shh. Take another breath. Here we go. Remember, this is the word. Get ready. Yes, I. Get ready. Yes, oh. Get ready. Yes, v. A quick one. Get ready. Yes, ch. Get ready. Yes, I. Get ready. Yes, ye. Get ready. Yes, ks. Get ready. Yes, ooh. Get ready. Yes, eh. Get ready. Yes, I. Last row, here we go. Get ready. Yes, woo. Get ready. Yes, coo. Get ready. Yes, you. For most of us who weren't taught to read using phonics, learning to say the sounds does not come naturally. In fact, it's hard work and it takes lots and lots of extra practice, perhaps spread out over many daily sessions. But because it is such an essential skill for you as the teacher, you need to practice and get that practice in before you start teaching your students. You might think that to teach the early lessons, all you have to do is master saying the few sounds that are introduced in those lessons. However, you will also need to know how to say the other sounds during pronunciation exercises. The visual symbols for those sounds may not be introduced until near the end of level 1, but you need to master their pronunciation. So you need to practice saying the sounds for all 40 symbols until you can say each one without hesitation. Not only will you have to demonstrate saying the sounds as a model for your students, you will have to hear when the students in a group are saying the sounds incorrectly. So remember, the continuous sounds need to be said for at least 3 seconds, and stop sounds should be said quickly. And then remember to practice, practice, practice.